Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. I'm Brad Lone Wolf, and today you want to once again join me outside. I'm in the local forest, local wood, and today I'm going to be looking at this. Now this has shown up on the internet a few times now as one of the ultimate multi-tools. It's one of the typical things where you're looking for multi-tools, or you're looking at outdoor survival things, and Google, being Google, is monitoring your search and then pops up with something. Oh, would you like to look at this? So look, this I got through one of the Google algorithm things, and I ordered it, I bought it, and I've already had a look at it. But this is just a quick review and what I think of this particular multi-tool. So without further ado, let's get on with it. Comes in a nice case. It does have a belt loop on the back of it, although to be honest it's that heavy, if you put it on your belt loop it'll probably end up pulling your trousers down. Inside you'll find loads of different things, lots of different pipe work, and I'll come on to what each of these are in a minute. So there's one, I'm just going to drop them on the ground for now. 2 and 3, as well as what is quite obviously a spade. They call it an entrenching tool, but it's a spade. So I'm just going to pop that down there. I'm just going to pop this in my bag so that I don't lose it. So first of all, let's look at the 3 pipes, the 3 pipe sections, starting with which I personally think is the most useless out of them all. So pipes go into my trouser pocket there. That's actually a glass punch. So if you have this in the back of your car, then the idea is that you can punch a window out or something like that. Not very useful in a bushcraft situation. There is one application for it, however. I might make some one day, but I'm not even sure whether this is going to work for that. But I personally think that this is the most useless out of them all. It's got good grip to it, but in terms of actual glass, in terms of actual use outside of a car situation, I don't think it's got any use at all. There is one, I am going to use it though a little bit later on in this video, and you'll see why. So that's the first one. The second one, now this just looks like a piece of pipe, and it kind of is, until you realise you can actually untwist this and then twist that back in. You've got to be careful with this, and I found that with this, you've got to be very careful how you thread this in, otherwise you do end up cross-threading it. And because this part's made out of plastic, obviously that will wear down quite quickly. Now then, that's how it looks. It's got a nice good firm grip handle on there. Now some of you are already saying, well, it's a saw and a knife. Not really. That is a bottle opener for those survivalists who take beer with them. So it is a bottle opener, so you've got that if you really need it. They call this, or it's in the description, as a knife. Now it is pretty sharp, but it isn't sharp enough really to be a knife. I will show you what that's really meant for in a minute. This bit here that looks like saw blades, it's actually a fish descaler. So you run this up a fish and you take all the scales off. And this bit here, that is actually to get a hook out of a fish's mouth. In terms of survival, pretty practical actually. You can make it even smaller and lighter by getting rid of the tube and just having that. It does make it a little bit more awkward, but it does make it smaller and lighter. So, just for now, I'm going to thread that back in and put it back in my pocket. Okay, this bit. This is actually the top of the grip. In there you've got a screwdriver. Now this is where it gets a little bit ironic, in that you need a tool to change the screwdriver, because, well, you did. When I first got this, that was so stiff to pull out that actually you need a pair of pliers. But you've got a Phillips head screwdriver on one end and a flathead screwdriver on the other. Again, how useful that would be in a survival situation, I'm not really sure. I personally can't see a lot of use for a screwdriver, although I'm sure there are people out there that would tell me otherwise. In the top of the handle, you actually get a compass, and although it's just a standard button compass, it is better than nothing, particularly if you need to know where north is or south is. South's more important in the northern hemisphere. It does actually work. Takes a little while, but it does actually work. But more importantly than the compass, if you unscrew this compass housing, you'll find inside, you'll find a fire striker, and it is actually a fairly decent fire striker. Now remember the tool I just showed you with the fish descaler and that, and they claim it to be a knife? This is what I actually think it's for. So that's the tool again, there's the fire striker. I personally think it's the steel, and it works, there you go, works better as the steel. There you go. Now let's scrape the paint off. As with every fire striker, it is painted. You've got to get rid of the paint first. Once you've got rid of the paint, there you go. So that's what I personally think that is for, rather than a knife. Like I say, it's fairly sharp, but I don't think it's sharp enough to be actually classified as a knife. So let's put those two away. Careful not to cross thread these. There we go. Okay, and last but not least, moving on to the spade itself. It comes with its own separate cover, and I'll explain why in a second. Put the cover into a pocket. Okay, so like with any spade like this, it is folding, and you can fold it either to 180 degrees or 90 degrees for the entrenching system, so you can use it as an entrenching tool. But you can also put this at a 45 degree angle, I think they said it was. That's supposed to be to help haul you up into a tree if you need it. I'm not going to try it, and I personally don't think it's going to be that great. However, I'm going to now put this to the 180 degrees setting, because there are supposed to be some more tools on this, and I'll take you through them. You've probably already spotted the two forget the name, but you probably spotted them. Would they be useful? I don't know. Their position, no, not really sure. That's just, again, my personal opinion. There's only two, so if you haven't got the ones that actually fit in there, you're kind of screwed, really. So are they really useful? Yes, as long as you've got that size nut and that size nut. Anything else? Not really. This, again, it's kind of a bottle opener, but it's also, if I turn it over, I don't know if you can see in there, but it's actually meant to be a bit of a wire cutter as well. You've probably already noticed it, and I will talk you through them, but the two sides on here, on the actual shovel face, that's supposed to be a saw. It's not quite sharp enough to be a saw. That is supposed to be an axe. I'm not even joking, that is supposed to be an axe. You can probably see where they've beveled it down, try and make it sharp. It's not actually sharp. That is what it's described as an axe. It is as blunt as a butter knife. And I haven't even bothered swinging it yet to see if it's any good, because I honestly don't think it will be. I will be moving the camera in a minute. There is a stump just over there, a dead stump, and I'll be trying it out on that. Honestly, I don't think it's going to be any good. However, moving on. The main purpose of all of these, as you can probably imagine, is to create a shovel. And yes, you just saw me take the descaler and put it down there. That is where it's meant to be. This is a hollow tube, but if you try putting the next section on there with the descaler where it was, it doesn't actually fit. And then the top section with the screwdriver and the compass and the fire striker goes on. Works out to about that length, which is, as usual for an entrenching tool or a spade, not quite long enough. So I will just reposition the camera, and when I come back I'll be over at a stump and you'll see me trying to use the various tools on here. Okay, so this is the stump that I'm going to be using this tool on, and I'm going to do a little bit of digging as well. So what should I do first? Sawing, digging, or axe chopping? Let's go for a little bit of axe work, because honestly I think you'll see just how crap this axe is. Just making sure that all the pipes are done together. Swing and miss. Okay. Okay, bearing in mind that the stump is rotten, that wasn't actually too bad. Let's try again. Okay. Remembering that the stump's rotten. Ooh, that was a bit of a blow. Okay. I will take it back slightly. That's not too bad. But remember that this stump is rotten. So it's just something to bear in mind. Okay, moving on to the other side, onto the saw now. Let's just see how that works. Again, seeing that this is a rotten stump, it's not too bad, but honestly this is one of the few times I think the axe actually performs slightly better. Actually not too bad at all. Okay, I do take it back what I said about the axe, but that is on rotten wood. Too bad. Right, let's try doing a few shovelfuls with this. Now, as usual, as I said before, this being the type of spade it is, the handle is just too short, and that's the same goes with every spade like this, to be honest, but let's try it anyway. Yeah, it's not too bad. Again, not too bad. Obviously, like I say, the handle is a bit too short. You can certainly feel that. You can certainly feel that you need just a little bit more just to get a decent purchase on that. That's not, it's not too bad. I've certainly used worse. Let's cover that back up. Okay. Now let's try it in the 90-degree angle. I know when it's in this position, come on. I know when it's in that position it is designed to be used differently. I haven't got anywhere to use it like that, so let's just do the same thing again. That actually feels a lot better just doing that. That feels a lot better, a lot easier. It feels like you can get a lot more purchase on it. Yeah, so in that position and as a spade, it's actually not too bad. The thing that does surprise me actually, I'll put that back as it should be. So, the thing that surprises me more than anything with this is, even though you've got 4 sections, 1, 2, 3, 4 on there, it actually feels pretty solid. Move the camera up. It actually feels pretty solid as you're swinging it, whether you're swinging it as an axe or using it as a saw, or using it as a spade or entrenching tool. It actually feels pretty solid, which I'm actually surprised about, to be honest. I would have thought that something like this would have been more of a, as you can sort of feel it wobbling as it goes down, but no, I'm actually quite surprised at that. Although that is something that's getting a little bit worrying, is the fact that that's actually in the locked position and the spade's not exactly locking into place. So that's one thing against this tool. Overall though, would I recommend something like this? Really depends what you're going to be using it for. In terms of bugging out in a car, yeah, absolutely. Keep something like that on hand. Get yourself out of the snow. Got yourself a little fire starters. In terms of bushcraft and survival, your mileage may vary, but I think, to be honest, I'm not going to say it's a waste of time and money, because it's certainly not, but you've got to think carefully about what you're going to take. I mean, for example, would you really need to take screwdriver? And if you are going to take a screwdriver, you need to cut down on weight. Most people will only take flathead screwdrivers. Fish descaler, definitely. Fish descaler, hooker, or de-hooker, whatever it's called, and the fire striker blade, absolutely. Take that. Forgotten what else is in there. The glass punch, no, not unless you're going to be making arrowheads out of glass. I honestly can't see you needing the glass punch, but again, your mileage may vary. Overall though, as a spade, definitely, and you definitely want a handle this long. If you can make it a bit bigger, that'd be absolutely ideal. But that is that's it pretty much for this video. Thank you very much for watching, and I shall see you next time. Bye for now.